it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a brand new Destiny 2 video.
All right, really quickly before you guys continue on with the video, you guys probably already heard it at the beginning, but the mic sounds absolutely
horrendous.
I don't know exactly what happened. I was recording through OBS. I thought everything was perfect, and when I heard the recording back, it sounds like I'm talking out of a bucket or something like that, or like I'm in like a well or something. I just want to apologize for that really quick. I hope you guys are able to still understand what I'm saying throughout the video. I could have redone it, but I didn't feel like doing it. I just wanted to immediately put this out here, and it won't feel as authentic if I kind of redid it, but I hope you guys do end up enjoying the video. I am sorry. It will not be like that in the next one. I can promise you that. I don't know why OBS, I'm recording through OBS right now. I don't know why it just decides to do some dumb stuff like that. But yeah, I'll see you guys at the next video. Peace.
With today's video, I'm bringing you guys another build video. Today, we're going to be focusing on the STASIS Warlock. This is a infinite grenade build. I think you guys will enjoy this one. This build did not specifically come from me. I saw it from another YouTuber. I saw this on their video and I was like, hey, this is a new season and this is mostly a solar and stasis focused season. Let's bring this build back. So I do hope you guys sincerely enjoy this. This is by far the most fun I've had on stasis for using Warlock, and I think you guys are going to like this one as well. So without any further ado, let's get straight to the character screen and see exactly what it is that I'm using, and we're going to go through everything one by one. So be sure to follow along with me. Here we go. So here we are on the character screen, and I hope you guys do end up following along with me. The first thing we're going to take a look at is our subclass tree. We're going to see exactly what I have running in there, so be sure to follow along with me. And as always, the dim link will be down below in the description for you guys to apply this to your loadout immediately, so you guys could go ahead and hop straight into game. So here we are on the Shadebinder Warlock subclass, and the first thing we're going to take a look at is our abilities. So what I am using is Healing Rift. Healing Rift is absolutely fantastic for healing, and this subclass in itself doesn't have that much survivability, so Healing Rift is definitely going to help out in case we're doing some of those higher end game content. I'm using Burst Glide right here because it is the best Warlock movement ability. I personally don't like the other ones, but it's entirely up to you if you do like those. And then here we have Penumbral Blast. This is the only stasis Warlock melee. It has gotten a buff to pretty much be exactly like how it was day one stasis, so this is definitely super good to use. And then here we have Cold Snap grenades, and we want to be running Cold Snap because you guys pretty much seen at the beginning of the gauntlets that I have on, Cold Snap got a buff. It actually tracks people properly now. It doesn't just go wherever it wants to, and it actually works super well. So be sure to have Cold Snap grenade on. And for my aspect, I have the Glacial Harvest, and you guys can see with the description, since we're going to be freezing enemies quite a ton, it's going to create a whole bunch of stasis shards. And when they freeze the targets and we defeat them, as you can see, stasis shards gives us melee energy. So if we use our Penumbral Blast and then we freeze more targets, it's going to constantly give us stasis shards. Hence, we could keep on spamming our melee. So we have a melee spam and a grenade spam, and it just all synergizes together. And the bread and butter for this will be the Ice Flare bolts, because once you shatter a frozen target, that frozen, like, it will make like a little like tracking frozen, I guess, wave, and it will go track some more targets and freeze them. So everyone's getting frozen, hence means more grenades for you, and it's going to be just more stasis shards all around, and it looks so visually pleasing, as you guys seen from the beginning of the video gameplay. So with that being said and done, that is the abilities and aspects. Let's move on to the fragments. Now here we are on the fragments, and the first thing that I want you guys to be using is definitely this one right here, the Whisper of Shards, because when you shatter a stasis crystal, it boosts your grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional crystals increases the duration of this benefit. Absolutely fantastic. This is literally just, if you freeze anything, you get increased grenade regen. For our next one, we're using the Whisper of Refraction, where defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. Since we're pretty much going to be doing that, we're just going to pretty much have our class ability up pretty much all the time, and it's just going to help synergize with some of the other class mods that we are running. And then here we have the Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield. Originally, I had on this specific stasis fragment right here, where primary ammo weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals or frozen targets, but I switched it because stasis ended up getting a buff this season where special weapons do increase damage to frozen targets. So I don't see the point in running this anymore, but if you don't want to specifically use your special weapon to damage or break stasis targets, you can have this on, but I personally gonna be using my energy weapon and just get this free benefit by itself. And plus, since this class sucks in survivability, having this right here is gonna help for overshield, and We're going to be creating tons of stasis shards, and it's just going to help out with survivability, especially in those higher end game content. And last but not least, I'm using this one. This helps specifically to get that burst of frozen damage in front of all those enemies, and it's just going to help out with clearing out hordes and hordes of enemies in pretty much whatever content that we're doing. With that being said and done, I hope you guys were able to follow along with me right there. Now we're going to head on to the artifact mods and see exactly what we have going on there. Now, unfortunately, I do not have every single artifact mods unlocked, so we're just going to use this tree instead, and I'm going to tell you guys which one I think you should have on, so be sure to follow along and let's go. For our first column right here, it doesn't really matter. Just have on pretty much anything that helps with whatever champions that you need for that specific content. So if there's any overload, you already know to have on this, or if you have a weapon that has intrinsic overload, be sure to use that as well. For the next artifact perk I would say to have on, it is definitely this one right here, because rapid solar frontal blows will pretty much give you radiant, and you can literally get radiant on any subclass. It doesn't matter if you don't have to use solar, you can just get radiant instantly, like on stasis. And radiant is just extra increased damage to your weapons, so it definitely helps to have this on. The next one I will have on is torch right here, because when you do get radiant, you get increased weapon damage to strand or stasis debuffs, and when people get frozen in stasis, that also counts as a debuff because you can't move, and you just get an increase to weapon damage, which is absolutely fantastic. The next artifact mod I would have on is the Pillar of Ice, because defeated and encased combatant spawns a stasis crystal, which means you'll get tons and tons of stasis crystals, and you'll have that overshield up pretty much the entire time, so make sure to have this on as well. And then last but not least, I'll have Hail of the Storm. Shattering encased targets and stasis crystals deal increased damage, and shattering the stasis crystals release shards of ice that damage and slow targets, and it just makes the stasis build just absolutely destroy every single thing, and that is exactly what we're going for with this build. Now, with that being out of the way, let's go take a look at the armor mods, and we'll take a look at the weapons, and we'll call it a video. Before we get to that, make sure you guys have on the iamskillzz gloves. This is pretty much real bread and butter for this build, because our cold snap grenades have an additional charge, which means we get 2 cold snap grenades this time, and they recharge very quickly as soon as we toss them and we freeze a whole bunch of targets. We gain our grenade pretty much instantly, and it just never runs out. Occasionally, sometimes it does run out if you don't freeze enough targets and defeat them, but most of the time you'll have like infinite grenades if you're doing this build correctly. So be sure to have this on, and it's just an absolutely fantastic exotic for stasis. I hope they do create another one, fingers crossed, but make sure to have this on. So the first thing that we're going to be taking a look at is my helmet. I am using a recov mod. I have on stasis siphon because I'm using a stasis primary. Orbs of power, you guys already know that. I'm using heavy ammo finder, increases the drop of heavy ammo on kill, and you know, we need heavy ammo all the time for whatever content that we're doing, so this definitely helps out. Here on my gauntlets, I have the iamskillzz gloves, absolutely fantastic. As you guys can see, I'm using a recov mod. I have a double grenade kickstart. I know Bungie ended up switching some of the way how the cooldowns work on some of these mods, so I didn't really see a difference between now and compared to back then with the double grenade kickstart, but if there is a difference, feel free to swap to something else of your choice. On my chest armor, I have on a recov mod. I have on charged up because we're going to be picking up stasis crystals, a lot of them, and we're going to get a whole bunch of armor charges from that, and also using sniper damage resistance. This is mostly for that higher end game content. There's going to be a lot of enemies that might not be close to us, and they might be far away, and this will pretty much help us with dealing with that. For my boots, I'm using a minor recov mod, and I'm using elemental charge right here. This pretty much is exactly what I was talking about with the stasis shards. Since we're going to be creating tons of those and we're going to pick them up, this gives us a chance to become armor charge, and we're going to get tons and tons of armor charges, and this helps with having the infinite grenade from the grenade kickstart right here. And then right here, I'm using stacks on stacks just to increase my armor charges more. Like I said, we're going to have tons of armor charges, and it's just going to help out with having our uptime on our grenade a lot more. And then finally, I have on my warlock bond. This is a artifice armor, so I get the extra stats +3. I'm using Rezeal mod here, recovery 4, artifice armor, you get extra stats. I have on double bomber, reduces my grenade cooldown when I use my class ability. And like I said in the beginning of the video, we're gonna freeze targets, we're gonna gain class ability, and if we don't get our grenade, we can always just pop our rift and get our grenade back instantly, and it'll help out with that. And then I have on Reaper right here. Reaper used to not have this description right here. It used to be as soon as you put down your rift, you could like go AFK for like an hour, come back, shoot an enemy, and it will spawn an orb of power. But now, as soon as you use your rift, you have to make sure you get a kill with a weapon so that it will spawn a guaranteed orb of power. Then I believe this has a cooldown, so you'll have to wait like 10 seconds for it to come back. Make sure to have this on. And now moving on to the weapons, and I'm gonna say first of all, for these weapons specifically, this is exactly what I'm using. You don't have to use this. If you want to switch it around, you can, depending on the type of end game content that you are doing and the champions and all that stuff that is in there. But if you want to use something for like maybe a lower end game content and you just want to completely destroy enemies and turn your brain off, this is exactly what I'm using. I'm using the Unending Tempest. I got this from last season. I have a Demolitionist Headstone Roll, which is absolutely fantastic. There is a new trace rifle for this season for Stasis, which is absolutely good as well. I do not have it, but if you do have it and you know exactly what it is, I will throw it up on the screen right now, is this one. Definitely craft this because it's absolutely fantastic. For my secondary, I'm just using the Salvager Salvo. You don't have to use this exactly, but this is just what I'm running. And then for my heavy, I'm using the Apex Predator because of reconstruction and bait and switch. And if you go into the Artifact mod, there's like Argent Ordinance's backs, which means you get like an increased damage into your rockets, so which is absolutely fantastic. You don't have to, if you don't have Apex Predator, you can use something else, maybe like the Cold Comfort from the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon, or maybe the Hothead still works pretty well, but this is pretty much what I'm using. With that being said and done, that brings us to the end of today's video. If you guys did enjoy that, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I haven't got to say this yet, but we did hit 1,000 subscribers like a month ago, and I didn't get to thank you guys for that. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for enjoying the videos. I do appreciate every single one of you. I know I haven't really uploaded as much in the past few weeks, and I do apologize for that, but we are back into some more build videos, so be on the lookout for more of that soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Peace out.